everyone, and welcome to my little corner. In this video, I'm gonna be doing a book haul. It's been a long time since I've bought books. Like honestly, I don't even remember what was the last book that I bought before what I just bought right now. So I bought all of these books from Amazon because it was selling them for the cheapest price and they all came at the same time. So yay. You know, if you want to buy books, although the experience of going to a bookstore is really good and the smell of books, it's amazing, buying books online is really the way to go because they are so much cheaper than if you buy them in a physical store. It doesn't matter which store, every store, if you check the price in store and online, they're completely different. The first book that I have is The Perks of Being a Wallflower. This is kind of a tiny little funny cute book, I guess. I didn't know it was gonna be so small and like a interesting size, I guess. So I watched the movie. Usually I read the books first, but I watched the movie for this and only then I knew it was a book, and I really enjoyed the movie, and I just thought that the book would be even so much better. Like you could take so many good quotes and things from the book, so I wanted to get it. And another thing I wanted to say about this is that I have a thing that I don't like having books with the cover of the movie. I like having the original covers all the time. I kind of get annoyed when I'm trying to get a book and they only have the movie cover, and I just want the book cover because I'm buying the book, I'm not buying the movie. This one is the movie cover, and it is only because they did not have the original cover. So I just thought, you know what, I'm just gonna live with it. I think this is only like the second book. Yeah, there's only one other book that I have that has the movie cover instead. As what I got from the movie, this is a really good coming of age story, and there's a very tiny summary in the back of this book, and it says, "The Perks of Being a Wallflower is a story about what it's like to travel that strange course through the uncharted territory of high school, the world of first dates, family dramas and new friends, of sex, drugs, and the Rocky Horror Picture Show, of those wild and poignant roller coaster days known as growing up." So these three friends, as you see in the cover, they basically go through a lot and they're just finding themselves. This is a tiny book and it's like 200 pages and it's like tiny pages. So this is a super fast read. Next up, I have The Honey Don't List by Christina Lauren. So as you have noticed by all of my past book hauls and book reviews, I've been doing a Christina Lauren review all the time, and I've been buying their books ever since my friend got me on them. Like I got obsessed and I've been buying their books ever since. Their last book, I believe I did a review for it. It was called Twice in a Blue Moon, and that was the first one from them that I did not like at all. Like, so even though I was disappointed from their last book, I still decided, you know what, I don't give up on people that easily. So I still bought their newest book, and hopefully this will all go back to normal and it will be a great story like usually. So this one says, Carrie Duncan has worked for home remodeling and design gurus Melissa and Rusty Tripp for a decade. A country girl at heart, Carrie started in their first store at 16 and more than anyone would suspect has helped them build an empire. With a new show and a book about to launch, the Tripps are on the verge of superstardom. There's only one problem. America's favorite couple can't stand each other. James McCann, MIT graduate and an engineering genius, was originally hired as a structural engineer, but the job isn't all he thought it'd be. The last straw? Both he and Carrie must go on a book tour with the Tripps and keep the wheels from falling off the proverbial bus. Unfortunately, neither of them is in any position to quit. Carrie needs health insurance, and James has been promised the role of a lifetime if he can just keep the couple on track for a few more weeks. While road tripping with the Tripps up the West Coast, Carrie and James vow to work together to keep their boss's secret hidden and their own job secure. But if they stop playing along and start playing for keeps, they may have the chance to build something beautiful together. So it could be a fun story, like you have to take care of a couple that can't stand each other and it's only for show for the cameras. So we shall see. Like the last book from Christina Lauren, it was all about, you know, Hollywood and show business and all about the behind the scenes of a movie set, which I did not like at all. I hope this one is not gonna be like that. It's more about, you know, fun relationships instead. Next up, I bought The Proposal, and this one had a lot of good reviews, so it seems like a lot of people like it, so I wanted to try it for myself. And this one says, when freelance writer Nicole Patterson goes to a Dodgers game with her actor boyfriend, his man bun, and his bros, the last thing she expects is a scoreboard proposal. Saying no isn't the hard part. They've been dating for only 5 months, and he can't even spell her name correctly. The hard part is having to face a stadium full of disappointed fans. At the game with his sister, Carlos Ibarra comes to Nick's rescue and rushes her away from a camera crew. He's even there for her when the video goes viral and Nick's social media blows up, in a bad way. Nick knows that in the wilds of LA, a handsome doctor like Carlos can't be looking for anything serious, so she embarks on an epic rebound with him filled with food, fun, and fantastic sex. But when their glorified hookups start breaking the rules, one of them has to be smart enough to put on the brakes. She gets proposed, she says no, and then she goes on some kind of adventure with someone else. So it seems like a fun story, like a romantic one, but also funny. Like this could actually be a romantic comedy kind of book, which I'm all for, so I'm really hoping that this is going to be a good one. Next one, Holding Up the Universe by Jennifer Niven. I bought this book because this author, her previous book is All the Bright Places, and I have read All the Bright Places not so long ago, and I even did a review on this channel for that. So I wanted to try her new book. When books do this thing where the cover is shorter than the actual pages of the book and they leave this line, why do they do that? That's kind of annoying. So this book has a very tiny summary as well on the back. I don't see anything like longer anywhere else, so this is all it says. Libby is the girl whose name everyone knows, but no one really sees her except Jack. Jack is the guy who's friends with everyone, but he doesn't let anyone in except Libby. The two make an unlikely pair, and yet they just might be able to change each other's worlds. Thank you. It is a very tiny summary of the book, but I think it's just straight to the point. You're just gonna have two characters who are the complete opposite of each other, and they are gonna find comfort in maybe themselves in each other, which I'm all about that. I really do like those stories, and it is a pretty cute cover, Holding Up the Universe. I also really like the name. Next up, I have This Is How It Always Is. This is kind of like a rugged cover, like it has like texture to it, which is interesting. So I bought this book because when I was looking for books, it was kind of like recommended and related to all the books I was looking for, and it had good reviews, which is kind of how I bought most of the books in this video. This one says, this is Claude. He's 5 years old, the youngest of 5 brothers, and loves peanut butter sandwiches. He also loves wearing a dress and dreams of being a princess. When he grows up, Claude says he wants to be a girl. Rosie and Penn want Claude to be whoever Claude wants to be. They're just not sure they're ready to share that with the world. Soon the entire family is keeping Claude's secret, until one day it explodes. So I guess this book is like about transgender, and you know, you have this little boy that wants to be a girl, and I guess he knows right away, even though he's like super tiny still. I don't know, I feel like this is probably gonna be like a heartwarming story, and since it had so many good reviews, I really hope it's good. And lastly, the last book that I bought is 99% Mine by Sally Thorne. The only reason why I bought this book is because recently I finished reading The Hating Game, also by Sally Thorne, and I love that book so much. It actually became one of my favorites, and so I wanted to read her new book. Darcy Barnett has undertaken a global survey of men. She's traveled the world and can categorically say that no one measures up to Tom Valeska, whose only flaw is that Jamie, Darcy's twin brother, saw him first and claimed him forever as his best friend. Despite Darcy's best efforts, Tom's off limits and loyal to her brother 99%. That's the problem with finding her dream man at age 8 and peaking in her photography career at age 20. Ever since, she's had to learn to settle for good enough. When Darcy and Jamie inherit a dilapidated cottage from their grandmother, they're left with strict instructions to bring it back to its former glory and sell the property. Darcy plans to be in an aisle seat halfway across the ocean as soon as the renovations start. But before she can cut and run, she finds a familiar face on her porch. House flipper extraordinaire Tom, who has arrived bearing power tools and is single for the first time in almost a decade. Suddenly, Darcy's considering sticking around to make sure her twin doesn't ruin the cottage's inherent magic with his penchant for gray and chrome. She's definitely not staying because of her new business partner's tight t-shirts or that perfect face that's inspiring her to pick up her camera again. Soon sparks are flying and it's not the faulty wiring. It turns out only 1% of Tom's heart might not be enough for Darcy anymore. This time around, she's switching things up. She's going to make Tom Valeska 99% hers. So, you know, typical romance story. Someone's doing some renovations and then selling the house. Would you call that flipping houses? I'm not sure, but it seems like this could be a fun story, and I'm really hoping that it's gonna be as good as The Hating Game, which I really enjoyed. So these are all the books that I bought, and one last thing that I wanted to mention is that I have a Goodreads page. So I don't post all of my reviews on YouTube. Most of the time I'll just read the book, write my review on Goodreads, and then that's it. So if you want to check what I'm currently reading, and if you want to check all the reviews that I've done, then I will have the link to my Goodreads page in the description of this video if you want to check that out. Usually the next day I will give it a star score, and I will actually write a review. So if you're interested in that, the link will be in the description. The question that I have for you is, have you read any of the books that I just mentioned? And if you did, would you let me know without spoilers if you liked them? If you didn't, what did you think of them? Let me know in the comments down below. So this is it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a like and make sure to subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.